Assalamu alaikum. And Ramadan Mubarak to you all. Thank you so much for having me here this afternoon for this wonderful occasion. I would first like to recognise the traditional owners of the land that we stand on today and the leaders that have taken care of this land for generations and will do for generations to come. I would also like to recognise the many religious leaders that I have here in the room today. In particular, the Managing Director of the Al-Bayan Institute, Tarek Al-Bikai, and the Centre's President of the Islamic Practice and Dawah Circle, and the Chairman of ATI, Rafiq Islam, as well as the representative of the Grand Mufti. I have a personal connection to the Islamic world, and I've had the pleasure of travelling through the Muslim world. I was born myself in Malaysia in 1985 in the city of Shah Alam in Kuala Lumpur. For those of you who are familiar with Shah Alam, it has the Blue Mosque, one of the biggest mosques in Malaysia and one of the biggest mosques in the world. And so being able to hear the call to prayer in the morning was a wonder and brings peace to my heart wherever I hear it, whether it's here in Australia or anywhere around the world. I've also had the opportunity to serve as an Australian diplomat, and that has included travelling to much of the Muslim world, including being posted to Afghanistan, where I lived and worked at the Australian Embassy in Kabul. I've also had the pleasure of travelling to countries like Pakistan, the United Arab Emirates, Iran, as well as through countries like Qatar and much of the Middle East. So it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to understand and grow and develop my understanding of Islamic and Muslim culture. And it is wonderful to see how much it has thrived here in Australia and to see its contribution to Australian life. I also want to recognise my colleague Steve Camper for his remarks earlier. He articulated how much the Australian Muslim community has contributed far beyond its own boundaries. It's supported through global, through national events like the bushfires, through the floods, and through the pandemic. Time and time again, it has shown how much it supports the Australian way of life and how important it is in our community. So I am the Labor candidate for the seat of Banks. The federal election will be on the 21st of May. I would encourage you all to really engage with the political process coming up to understand what government can support you and your community most effectively. The electorate of Banks covers a range of suburbs. On its western side, it covers Panania, Revesby, Padstow, East Hills and Picnic Point. It moves towards the east to cover communities like Riverwood and Narwee, which I know have really strong Muslim communities. It also covers Oatley and Lugano towards the south and moves towards the east, where it covers South Hurstville, Ulwa and Carlton. I'm very excited at the opportunity to be able to engage with the community at all levels to understand what it needs, and that includes the Australian Muslim community in the Banks electorate. Look, I won't say too much more, but I am so excited because today's event combines two of my passions. One is multiculturalism, and today's audience is a real testimony to that. And the second is education. So alongside being an Australian diplomat, I've spent the last decade working on education policy, both here in Australia, but also in the UK and all around the world. And to see this award ceremony and this prize ceremony recognising the education of our young people and the education of the values of the Islamic faith, for me is a particularly exciting occasion to be a part of. So I'd like to say thank you again for having me today, and congratulations for the work that's been done by this institute, by this centre, and for all those who contributed to the events that, that has led us here today towards this prize ceremony. So thank you very much, and I look forward and am excited to continuing to engage with Australia's Islamic community. Thank you.